Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Uh, mad dash this morning. My daughter has been sick all week, but I just want to dive right in. I was going to wear my usual blue, but my husband, you can't tell how small this is, accidentally washed my favorite cashmere sweater. So my favorite cashmere sweater is more like for a middle schooler. So that won't be happening right now. This is part of life. And I'm thankful that he did the laundry, but that's usually what happens. That's all good. So I'm here drinking one of my favorite teas by Yogi Tea. And it is the stress relief. Even though I'm not really stressed, there is fog today. And that sort of kind of feels a little oppressive sometimes. Mm. But I love this cup. I wish that it had blue on it, but otherwise I love it. You see this beautiful whale fin here, and it says in Czech. And I'm sorry, Yana, if I get this wrong. Let's see. I calmly swim against the current. I really love this one right now. You can see, look up close. Look at the graphics there. Really nice. Anyway, I love this because it's exactly what we're doing when you're talking about midlife vitality, not crisis, and midlife pregnancy. You're swimming against the current of what people think things will be, right? And or should be, or are most likely to be. And it's all a set of ideas that somebody decided, and not you, and definitely not me. And that's why I'm here. I'm showing up live every Friday at 10 o'clock because I want to remind you of what's possible because I did it, because my clients have done it, gotten pregnant, naturally, sometimes using something else, but most cases naturally. And it's really about the whole story. And then that's why today I named the Ask Me Anything Q&A the ripple effect. For a couple of reasons. If you're getting to know me here, you know that nothing is just one thing. Whenever I do something or talk about something, almost always there's sort of a double meaning, or there's two layers, or it accomplishes more than one thing with one action, or a series of actions. Because it feels like I've done this since I was a kid. Like, it's not wasting time. It's utilizing the energy. I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's really important and fun. It's like when you were a kid and there'd be a spelling, you'd have a bunch of spelling words, and the teacher would say, make a sentence for each word that, makes sense with the meaning. And, when you're like, oh, okay, homework. But what made it fun for me is when they'd say, or if you can, fit more words into a sentence, then you can do that. I thought, ooh, I love that. Right. So I would try to come up with some super creative, crazy sentence that would have all the words whenever possible. And that was definitely an accomplishment. And I just like the challenge. So I think that's kind of what's happening here. It is what's happening here, and how I work with clients is how can one thing actually affect multiple things. And if you have ever been coached or coached before, then you know that it's like going to the gym. You don't just work out, one shoulder. You work out the whole body, and that's sort of what happens naturally. You don't have to be focused on necessarily affecting everything in your life, but one, like in math. I have a lot of analogies this morning. I don't know, like in math or simile. Uh, one side of the equation affects the other. It's just how it is. It's just when you affect your life, then it affects those around you, even if you're not trying to. And I think that's important. That's one of the ripples. One of the ripples is that whenever you're doing something for yourself, what you do, it echoes energy out. It ripples energy out to people around you, whether you know them or not. But if there's somehow a reason for them to catch that ripple, or they are really close in your circle. And sometimes that has some challenges. But other times, what I love is that, so many of us, like, I know that you're out there, and maybe like me, you think, oh, I don't have that much time always to do volunteer work, or there are less opportunities now. But this is one of those things that you're doing that. You're having an effect with, you don't have to be Oprah or someone with a big name and, celebrity status to be affecting others in an incredibly inspiring and needed way. And so I really want to encourage you just to know that by being who you are, oh, hi, Vibrant Immunity. Hi, Angela. So good to see you here. Uh, just by being who you are and taking the small steps, they don't have to be giant steps towards, your ultimate destination is affecting others. And I think as humans on the earth, that's profound. And it's important to remember that you don't have to be, jumping off of a cliff doing a swan dive perfectly, in front of TV cameras to be, still having an effect or inspiring others. So the other ripple effect is that when, a lot of the times when you're looking to get pregnant, you are very focused on getting pregnant and trying to get pregnant. We're trying to get pregnant. So whether you have a partner or you're on your own, there's so much energy that goes there. And in the beginning, you remember the beginning, like the first time you ever were wanting to get pregnant, because I move away from the word trying if I can, because trying isn't doing, right? So getting that out. And when you were walking towards that, it was good. It felt good. It was exciting. Whether you were doing it with a partner or not, there was excitement there. And it only takes one loss or multiple losses in some cases, uh, you know, to have that energy shift. Type a one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Uh, can relate at all that the energy shifts, and or maybe it comes in waves. You have highs and then lows. So one of the top things that I work with uh, my moms trying to get pregnant, and I say moms because you're already a mom when you have that in your heart. It's already, whether you already have kids or you're a future mom, is that defocusing that I've talked about. It's kind of moving the focus, off of the main destination, sort of like well, I'm dating myself. I know I've said it before, but in the 80s where you have those 5D posters and you sort of have to defocus, like your eyes, unfocus your eyes, and then it pops out. And I think that the picture pops out. Maybe they still have those. I don't know. So the picture pops out. And I think that thing that pops out is not just having the baby, but it's also what you're meant to be doing. So that ripple effect, and what you're doing, I really encourage my clients to put their energy into something that's calling them. It can be big or small. It can be doing a painting or starting a YouTube channel or starting a business or experimenting with things on the way to your business or that what you're meant to do. Maybe it's doing different things with the family that you already have, working your creativity that way, right? So whatever it is, and putting that energy there and not feeling guilty that you're not putting focus and energy on getting pregnant, right? But really putting that energy into what matters. And I know that you might be out there, maybe you know what your thing is, or maybe you don't. And that's the biggest challenge is, well, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's calling me. So one of the exercises that I do with people is at night before you go to sleep is just pull something into your mind, just even the question, what do I need to know right now to move forward? And that one exercise can actually help to open the door or start opening the door. And it may take, a few other tweaks along the way and awarenesses to get there. But that is a really good start, is starting with just asking. And what happens is often in that period, that place in the morning when you are waking up and your mind isn't quite fully awake, you get some answers. And we've talked about this before in the lives, but I wanted to mention it again because it's important. So then let's say you have this thing that you'd like to do. So then what we do in the session or right here, right now, would be to think about what the next step is. something towards that, if that makes sense. So just doing anything, like do one thing towards that thing that's been niggling. Maybe it's been writing a book or something else, but just taking 3 minutes a day before you start your day, before you do any emails, or you wake up in the middle of the night and instead of going online and digging around in social media, etc., you just go ahead and give yourself permission to write something. Or maybe I did that. I woke up at 3:30 this morning, very unexpected. I've been cuddling my daughter, trying to bring her back to health. She's been sick this week. She That's a whole other discussion, but she got sicker when we went for the COVID tests because that's required for school. It was too dramatic, and they did the brain scraping, which I did not expect for a child, but that happens. What are you going to do? I still have a headache from it, but make sure you ask questions and go to the right place is all I can say. I thought we did, but surprise. So coming back to things is just that, so I wrote this morning and I had some really nice inspirations because my brain was a little bit looser. So just, yeah, filling space instead of with social media with something else. And it's that putting energy into what matters for you, whether it's learning more self-care. It's an overused word, but it is hanging in the air, whether it's some of the things we mentioned before. What is something that you would like to put more energy into right now? If you're watching the replay or you're here right now, I would love to see a comment down below. And curious. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. I was holding it because it's a bit cold in here today. I turned off the heat. So we can look at those later, but I just wanted to just get you thinking and rolling on these things because it's this moving towards something that energizes you, that brings you light and life, that in fact brings energy, it makes you vibrate differently. It's like when you're in love and then all these things start showing up because you're open, you're receptive, you're receiving, and you're sort of cycling energy. There's movement, just like when you feng shui your house or you clean something. You're moving energy, and that moving of energy moves energy in your body. And that starts to put something into play that is another video. So I'm not going to muddle things here today, but that's where I wanted to start. I just wanted to give the opportunity to just think about that, moving away from trying, but creating that ripple effect in your body. So that ripple effect is move away from the trying. And I did the air quote thing again. I'm so sorry. That's so obnoxious. That just made me think of something from an 80s movie. Sorry. Yeah, coming back. So the ripple effect, you move away from the trying to get pregnant, which is actually most likely if it's been more than a minute and there's been any loss, there's tension there. We talked last week about cortisol levels. So you start protecting your heart and your body, and the cortisol levels go up, which creativity and receptivity shift. So, come back into that, opening, but you're opening as well to what you're meant to do. Now, purpose and creativity and health are so interconnected, especially here when you start on this path with your body of listening to the messages that are coming, listening to what is next, and following and allowing and surrendering to what's coming. It starts to ripple that out, put that into play in other areas. So now in the background, you are still doing things in the direction of getting pregnant, setting the foundation for healthy eating and all those other things that we talked about in the 7 steps to get midlife pregnancy, there's a link down below as well in the description if you want to grab that. And you're still doing that in the background, but you're putting your energy there. And it's sort of like when you have a 3-year-old who's tantruming and in a bad mood, not to equate your pregnancy that way, but your future pregnancy or your pregnancy. Yeah, there is something there that, you not distract them, but you kind of focus them on something else. And then you watch a shift happen that in that moment before you wouldn't have thought possible, right? They're like, oh, I'm not gonna, whatever. And so you shift them towards something else. My thing that I used to do, and that I did, in fact, yesterday, was I like to get a project going. So I had a dresser that's been needing to be built. So I grabbed a drill and I started to pull things out. And then my daughter shifted her energy. And I said, oh, would you like to organize those things? And she organized them. And then she said, I'd like to do the drill. And I went, okay, go for it, which is actually, electric screwdriver slash drill. And she did great. And I said, "Well, you mind if I assist you just to help you get the angle or to push down a little bit?" And she said, yeah, okay, and all the energy shifted. And I think there's something similar with your body and with this process, which goes from being fun to, so that's what I have to offer, is that just, dig into that which is calling. And it doesn't have to be huge. It's just those small things, those small steps on the way to something, even if it's part of the discovery of what your thing is. It's that moment of where things start to click in, that your body starts to shift. And next week we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about building the relationship between you and your body. So I'm Ariel Andersson. If you have any other questions, oh, yes, here we go. Vibrant Immunity, MD. Writing does help me shift my energy. I'm so glad. Yeah, it also releases something too, right? It releases something and then you see it. There's something, it's like saying something out loud. In fact, sometimes when I write, I do read something out loud if something unexpected comes up. Uh, Thank you for practicing. Any other questions while you're here? You can ask me anything at all, even about decor. What that said, anything you want. I'll just give it one more minute and then we'll say goodbye. Hmm. While I'm sitting here, you know what? I will read the yogi. I call it a fortune, but I did read this briefly and I wanted to read it to you. And I thought this is perfect. I love it when things align. Let your greatness show from your inner light. And that's what we've been talking about today, because what you're being called to do usually is connected to what your soul is calling for. Is that your daughter's painting on the wall? Yes, it is. In fact, it's a drawing, and you can see down below here, there's some pink here. She started a painting here with some washable paints so that I don't worry. She can just splash it on the floor and it's all okay. So that's her drawing. She decided to put it up on the wall. She saw that I had all this other art from various parts of the world. This is from Bali, this is from India and Fairfax and Czech Republic and various places. And she said she drew something and she said, this goes up here too. And she knows the kind of tape that she's allowed to put on the walls and all that. She felt really big. She climbed up on the couch and put it there. And this is going to be, this one she did pink and purple mixed together. And she wanted it to be violet, she said. She had done we'd pick things in the garden and glued them on yesterday or 2 days ago to something, and she wanted to do it with a colorful background. Oh, I did not know my cat was in this room. Surprise. That's that sound. Anyway, yes. So it's, she's following her inner light. I think kids are really good at following what they're drawn to do. And that's where we can find inspiration, whether it's from our own kids or somebody else. I do my best to allow my daughter to feel like she can make decisions like that. There's so many things that kids can't decide about, but there's small things where you can just let go in the house and give them a little autonomy or more autonomy. Well, I do a lot of that, but that's maybe more of a parenting thing. I do imperfect parenting coaching, and that's part of that. Okay, another question from Vibrant Immunity MD. Will you be sharing in the future how you dug deep to stay pregnant? Yes. Yes, I can do that. I actually am going to do, I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet. Let's say, I don't want to call it a challenge because that sounds stressful to me somehow. Let's say a retreat. I'm going to do a couple day retreat, I would say, a free retreat on the way to a program, which I think I'm going to be doing. Well, I will be doing. Let's do it. People have been asking, so I think it's time. And my daughter's now in school. Well, after this week, she'll be in school. So I'm going to I think I would prefer to do it in a more private environment. So I think I will do that. It's not that I'm ashamed. It's just, it gets very personal, and YouTube can be very public. So I will think about how I could express that here. I think I would prefer to do that in a little more intimate setting. So, yes, Angela, I will do that. I will do that. Thank you for bringing that up. I'll make a note of it to include it during the retreat. I want to share more ideas with you in a much more intimate way, kind of dig in a little bit more, and that would be a good opportunity. And that's going to be coming up, I would say, in the next, where are we, month and a half, November, beginning of November. I'm going to do, yeah, in the beginning of November, I'm going to do a couple day retreat with you. Could possibly be the end of October, but I think the beginning of November. So definitely, if you jump in, if you have the 7 steps, which I know you do, then I will send emails letting you know about that, and I'll also mention it here. But I will dig deeper there, just just in case, since this is very public, and no offense, I'm sure there's no trolls, but there could be. I just want to keep a safe space for everyone also to share, if I'm sharing, that they can share too. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. And if you have any other questions, you're welcome right now. You're also welcome to grab whatever you need down in the description. I will be putting this out in just a short while. I just put a thumbnail on it, and pop it out as it is. And there's my cat exploring next to me. All right, we're hitting the 22-minute mark. So I just want to say thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for giving me your energy, for showing up for this community and yourself. I like to think of us in a circle, in a room together. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please click subscribe and allow other people to also find this video if they need it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next Midlife Pregnancy Circle Live. See you real soon, and I wish you a beautifully imperfect day. Keep following that, whatever comes, and I'll take a last breath with you. Inhaling and exhaling into your day. Take care.